What would you say if I told you that four of the male conservative justices in the Supreme Court have already said that a lot of the things that Donald Trump is doing is unlawful and unconstitutional? Yep. They said it, their words, in opinions that they've written in the past, and they applied to this administration. So let's look at the receipts. So we're going to start with Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Back when he was a D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals judge in 2017, he issued an opinion saying essentially the executive branch does not possess a general freestanding authority to issue blinding legal rules, and may issue rules only pursuant to and consistent with the grant of authority from Congress. What do we see Donald Trump doing these past 120 days? Trying to make laws, usurping and stepping over Congress and doing what he's not supposed to do, according to Jet Brett. Brett said it. Who else? Next, we have Neil Gorsuch. Before he was in the Supreme Court in 2015, he issued an opinion himself. He says there's ample evidence that the framers of the Constitution thought the compartmentalization of the legislative power, not just the tool of good government or necessary to protect the authority of Congress from encroachment by the executive, but essential for the preservation of people's liberty. What is he saying here? He's saying that the executive cannot encroach, just step in. What has Donald Trump been doing these past 120 days? Stepping over the toes of the Congress and encroaching on their authority by taking away funding that they've already allocated, reapplying new conditions on already allocated funds to people, agencies, organizations, private entities, schools, capitulating and bending their ways to align themselves with his agenda, which is racist, sexist, xenophobic, and just transphobic and all things terrible. And he said, you can't do that. It's interfering with people's liberty. Last but not least, not last, but Justice Clarence Thomas. He doesn't write a lot of opinions, but he did write an opinion just last year. Was it last year? 2024, in this case, National Protection Bureau, where there was a challenging whether the funding for CFB. And Clarence Thomas says, our Constitution gives Congress control over the public fiscal. Essentially saying, if Congress says this is how they want to fund it, that's their job. Here he was again reiterating the fact that Congress has the power of spending, not Donald Trump, not the executive. Last but not least, Samuel Alito. Yeah, he was dissenting. Interestingly enough, 2 years ago, FDA versus the Association with Alliance or Hippocratic Medicine, he wanted a nationwide injunction to be upheld because he said you can't trust the FDA, which is part of the executive. It was Joe Biden's executive, to not actually issue the drug mifepristone, which is the abortion drug, and that he cautioned it. And that's why he wanted to allow the nationwide injunction to go forward, because he couldn't trust the executive. So, hello. I hope they remember their own words when these cases percolate their way back up to the Supreme Court later. JJ Legal, keep following.